easier and a bit interesting for me. Also, what I did prior to picking my topics is email my convener. So I did this for a couple of reasons. So I emailed my convener to know how keen they were, if they would perhaps get me published, or get me presentation, things like that. If you email a convener and they don't get back to you 2 weeks later, you kind of know what can be, kind of how the convener is going to be like in future. So a lot of people tell you different things about different conveners, but different conveners change every year. So I think if you email your convener before, that's quite a good thing to do, and I did that as well. A bit of a controversial bullet point, I think, because sometimes if you're doing research, you kind of want to do something that you've never done before, but you're interested in. But for the purposes of maybe getting published or presenting something, doing something that you kind of know a bit about what you're doing, you're probably more likely to go further with that, just because someone who's reading your paper is going to know if you've never heard of what you're doing, if they're an expert in that topic. And yeah, also with the type of paper that you pick as well. So how many RSs do you have to do in total?
So 3.
3. So you do RS
1, 2, 3, first, second, third.
But RS 2 and 3 are the same project. 2 is just planning and 3 is actually executing.
So you only do one project?
You do one in first year, which is separate from...
Separate, okay, so, okay, cool. So I would say if you've done a systematic review in first year, do an audit or something in RS2, RS3 kind of thing. Once again, not just for the grade, but for your CV, it's really important. Like, you're not going to realize till you reach 4th year, 5th year that, oh, I don't have this, I don't have this, oh, I need an audit, oh, it looks good, do you know what I mean? So you're always going to need an audit. That's one of the things I'd say. You're always going to need an audit no matter where you go in your career. There's always going to be a tick box to have an audit or to have an experience in an audit. And once again, it's something good to talk about. So I say try and change the different type of topics that you do every time you do it. And I would say probably for me, the most important part of my RSs was my first meeting. I've been quite fortunate in that I was doing interesting RSs and I was doing well in them. And then I picked an RS, which kind of was the most interesting one for me. But I just thought, oh, the guy, convener's going to know what he's talking about. He's going to give me a good project. I'm going to get published. And I didn't really do anything, any homework. Didn't really read up on the subjects when I went in. And he gave me a topic, which ended up being, which didn't get a good grade, which didn't get published, which didn't. So it was just a dead-end topic, just because I didn't have any prior knowledge of what he was kind of giving me. Just because I was interested in it. So I would say the most important part of your RS is actually establishing in that first meeting exactly what your goals are. Do you want to get it published? Do you want to present it? Because your convener can maybe give you a more of a niche, innovative topic that can result in that, rather than giving you a dead-end topic. So I would say do your homework. If you know kind of what area you're doing, kind of read up about. A good thing to do is go on like research websites, like cancer research if you're doing oncology, and just see kind of basically what I did was see what they were giving bursaries for, and kind of see what new research was kind of coming up from those bursaries, and then asking my convener, oh, could I do a bit on this? And if you do something that someone's still doing now or still currently trying to develop, it's so much more easier to get once again published or presented somewhere. That's more of quite a very specific thing. For like case, I don't know if you do case reports still, but if you're writing a case report or you're doing a systematic review and you had a specific journal in mind, it's just worth bear in mind, and as Amanjit was saying, there are specific criteria you need to meet to be published for different papers. So it might be worth kind of maybe writing your RS similarly to how that paper kind of wants it as well, but obviously within the university criteria. Also, one of my projects was I got distinction in it. It's currently handed in for publish. I presented it at 4 conferences, and it took me 4 days to do because my convener had started it, was towards the end of finishing it, and he just went, oh, can you just do like the results and the conclusion from me? He collected all the data, he'd done everything, his registers had compiled everything. All I had to do was just do that at the end. And he was, and I was worried about, oh, is the university going to, but it was perfect. Like, yeah, it was really good. So that took me 4 days to do it. I had 3 week holiday. It was really good. So I would just say, ask convener, is there anything he's currently doing? And most consultants will have something, but they might not want you to jump on it for your RS, but it's worth asking. And also, as I was saying, it's a good opportunity. This is the only time that you're going to be supported this much doing research. You're not going to have this much infrastructure to do research in the future. So it's not only a good experience, it's a good opportunity to kind of reach your goals and what you want to do in research. And yeah, just through the process, you're going to learn skills that you're going to have to use later in your career. It's kind of, I know it's not an option now, and it's not going to be an option later on. You're going to have to do it at every point of your career. At some point, you're going to have to get into some form of research. And once again, I would say be innovative. Don't just do something that's going to be really easy. I mean, you can balance kind of interesting and easy, but try and be innovative. Try and do something that makes a difference. Because it's really nice, something to talk to, if it's not published or anything. It's really nice to talk about things like that. So just to finish my really brief talk, I'll just give you a couple mistakes that I made in my RS. So in the first year I did an audit, which is fine, did that was okay. And then in second year I did something I was really interested in, and that was endovascular surgery. That was the one I was talking about with my convener. I kind of went in blindly, and he gave me a topic that I said to him, I want a distinction in this. My goal wasn't to be published, then it was kind of, I want a distinction in this project. And he kind of gave me a topic that he knew was very difficult, and the likelihood of me getting a distinction in it was basically 1 to 5% or whatever. His registers started doing it, and they kind of gave up on it but he didn't tell me that. It was only until I handed it in and I was talking to the reg, I showed the regis and I was like, is there any paper you think I can get this published in, whatever? And they were like, you finished this, how did you, there's no way you could have possibly finished this, like, it makes no sense because we've tried, blah, blah, blah. And they had to read the paper, and it literally didn't make sense, like, the paper didn't make sense. The only reason I passed that was because it fit within university guidelines, but the paper didn't make sense. I have managed to present the paper at a conference, and to be honest, it was really embarrassing because people come around and they're like asking you questions, and you know it doesn't make sense, but obviously you're just there. You're just there because it looks good on your CV, and they're asking you questions like, I know it doesn't make sense. You're like an absolute idiot. So just kind of, that was one mistake I made. Other mistake I made was not to fully read the handbook. I don't know if a lot of people tell you the variability with conveners. So a lot of people say, oh, SSM or RS wasn't fair because you had this convener, I didn't have this convener. And it's quite hard to know, do I follow my convener or do I follow the university handbook? So many conveners will tell you, oh, you don't need to do that part. Just do it my way. I'm the one marking your SSM, or sorry, RS. But I would say do everything in the handbook down to the letter before you follow your convener. So I would say follow your convener, but do everything down to the letter. Because if you do everything down to the letter and you're sure you've got excellent on all those things that you need to do as part of the handbook, if your convener gives you any mark less than you think you deserve, but you've ticked all the boxes, you can appeal it. And I got a merit on one of my SSMs, and it's because I didn't write my last bits the way my convener wanted me to write it, but I kind of sent my SSM and appeal to the board, and they looked at it, and I had made sure that I'd done everything the way they asked me to, and it got marked as a distinction. So it's kind of a grey area, but I would say kind of make sure first of all that you do everything down to the letter, and also know that you can appeal your SSM if you don't think someone's been marked it right. I got everyone to read over my RSs. My housemates that were medics, my dad, my mum. I sent it to my English teacher in A that I knew in A-level. I sent it to her to check my grammar. Just get it checked over. Once again, section 7, I think, is on the mark scheme. The bit for looking nice, the referencing and stuff like that, is probably the most important part with regard to the university's marking. So it's not worth losing marks on that, and that's the easiest place to lose marks. So just send it to everyone. Read your friends' RSs. What have they done? What haven't you done? Throughout my whole RS and SSM, I'd never been told this, even though I'd like got distinctions. I'd never been told this, that you had to, if you wrote, if you're referencing, you had to do 1, 2, 3, all in order. So I'd always done like 1, 4, 5, whatever. And I'd always done fine. I don't know. So I'd never been ever told this. I'd never really read anyone else's SSM. Obviously, I'd been sending my stuff out to external people to read, so they didn't really see any problem with that. And in my last SSM, I did it completely fine. So Liverpool, I hadn't checked my grade yet. I went on my email to check the tick boxes. So excellent, 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 pass. I was like, so looked on Liverpool Live, and I got a pass, and I was like, so shocked. Sent like a massive email to my convener, like, what's going on? Like, blah blah. He was like, oh, you haven't done your references properly, so all I can give you is a pass. I was like, no one's ever told me this. Well, he was like, you know, it's in the handbook. Just you should have read it properly, kind of thing. So that's one mistake I made. I don't know if anyone does that. I feel like I'm an idiot because I asked all my friends, they're like, yeah, everyone does that. No one's ever told me that. So yeah. Any questions? Any questions about kind of doing presentations, how to set up a presentation, how Manja talked about publishing. Any questions about research in general, how to get involved out of university or anything like that?
I just wonder, like, the publishing. I've spoken to my convener, because we had the first meeting with him like a month ago, and I asked him, I was like, is there a chance for publication with this topic? And he was kind of umming and erring, and he didn't seem too keen.
Yeah.
So, like, what do you do in that situation if you want to get published?
What's your topic on?
Safety of drugs in newborn babies.
Okay. What I would say was have a Google of stuff in that area that's quite innovative, because if you write a paper well and it's innovative, it's very hard for, as much as you need to commit to one paper, but if a paper rejects you, you can go on to whatever. So if you write something that's innovative and it's a well-written paper, you probably will get published if you're keen. Pretty much anyone through an RS can get published. If you do it well and it's innovative, you can get published. The problem is that people do things that everyone has known for 10 years, or people do things and have written it poorly, so no one accepts it. But even if you've written it poorly and it's innovative, you can change it. Once you send it to journal, they might advise you on how to change it and make it publishable. So I would say just have a Google and see what is innovative, what people are doing at the moment, is probably, and then throw it to him and see how he responds to it. Give him like 3 options or something.
And presenting, how do you go about getting involved with presenting?
Oh, presenting's the easiest thing. Easiest thing. I didn't realize how easy it was to present. Like, I reckon in a year, if you wanted to, you could probably present about 10 different conferences from one paper. So there's a site. If you type in a specific conference to what you want to do, there's a site with all the conferences. And I've submitted my paper to over 20 conferences at once. It takes ages. But I just submitted my papers to all of them, and a lot of them come back with, oh, thank you, it's accepted. I mean, you get accepted in the most random places like Australia, America, and that. But even on your CV, if you put, that acceptance letter, oh, I've been accepted to this conference, even though I didn't present it, blah, blah, blah. Still on your CV, your abstract's still being accepted, and it still shows that you have kind of good research, even though you didn't present it. So I would say, just once again, Google. Just send it out. If you want to get published and if you want to present, just send it out. You have to be able to put the time in and be keen enough, and just get it out. And if you want any help with that, you can give me an email or something, because it's really easy.
What do you Google? What kind of conferences do you look for?
So because I want to do, so the first place I look is the Royal College of Surgeons, Edinburgh, for mine, because most of mine are surgically led. They have tons of conferences, tons of symposiums, and if you're doing their exams later and doing their interviews later, it looks even better if you presented at their conferences. But for my endovascular one that I presented, I just googled endovascular surgery conferences, literally, and I got like 30 conferences.
So the presenting comes after you finish the paper. You don't think about it whilst you're.
No, yeah, after you finish it, yeah. I know a couple of people at conferences who have presented and are currently writing the paper, but it's kind of, pretty rare.
What is presenting involved? Like, what do you have to do in the
So you hand your abstract in, usually a while before, so 4 to 5 months before the deadline. You find out if you've been accepted or not. Some conferences are really good. If you haven't been accepted, so once again, even if you don't get accepted, email them and say, why haven't I been accepted? So that's happened to me. I haven't been accepted. I emailed them why, told me why, changed some bits in my RS, submitted it again to the same people, and they accepted it. So after you get accepted, all you need to do is print out a poster. There's a service in the university. You just find out how to do it, print the poster up. They usually have poster guidelines on the conference website or whatever, how they want it to be, A1, A2, whatever. And then once you go, you put your poster up. If it's an oral presentation, you get a time slot, usually 10 to 15 minutes, where you have to talk about your project. If it's a poster, there's always poster competitions when you put them up. So you put up a poster, and then the judges come around, and then you just present your abstract, basically. So when you submit a paper, you don't submit a paper, you submit an abstract for presentation, and you just present your abstract. It is really simple, and if it's a good, well-written project, it will be really easy to do, unlike mine. Was that?
Just wanted to add, if anyone wants to present their RS1s or anything like that, we'll be sending out emails asking for like any publications that you want to present at the conference next year. So just look out for it.
Yeah, I presented my first presentation was at the Liverpool conference, and then after that I was like, it just gave me a little bit of confidence as well to just be like, oh, that's been accepted, so I'm just gonna submit everything. So that kind of got the ball rolling. And I was just saying, it's not presenting there. It's no kind of presenting there or presenting America. Obviously, it's different in your CV or whatever. But the way you word things on your CV, the way you talk about it, presenting is presenting. Like a Liv Acres conference and a Royal College of Surgeons conference can look as good on your CV if you want it to. Do you know what I mean? So just be smart about it and try and just get out. That's all I'd say. Get out.
When you say be innovative, do you mean like your own judgments in the research? Like, because mine is about norovirus if we need a vaccine for it. So would I bring in my own opinions on it and then try and bring statistics to back it up? Would that be?
No. So when you bring in your own opinion, that can be innovative. But if the only way that would be innovative is if I said if I applied my project to a real life situation in, let's say, hospital you see every day to, I don't know, with norovirus, like a real life, not your own opinion, but like a real life situation which you can apply that to. When I say innovative, that I explained before, I meant there's always going to be projects to do with your specific topic. The projects you're doing now, someone will be doing somewhere else, and it will be on Google, and there will be some stuff about it. So what I'm saying is be innovative is have a question in your mind, but then Google it and make sure that no one else is doing the same thing. So just kind of have a read of papers and have a look on PubMed and see if people have done the exact same thing that you've done. If you can phrase it a different way. A lot of papers, if they've done a similar thing that you've done, at the end they'll give you suggestions on how the paper needs to be improved and things like that. So that's kind of what I mean with that. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Sorry, actually, just one more point to add. So obviously, Ter-er have emphasized the importance of getting things published, but obviously one set of study can only be published at one paper. So it's better if you can get it published at a paper that has higher impact factor. Probably less important to the pediatricians and the physicians. How many people here want to do surgery in the future? Okay, that's not my thoughts. But for the future surgeons and ophthalmologists, if you look at their specialty, entrance requirement, they actually look at how they don't just look at how many publications you have. They also look at what's the impact factor of the paper that you get published. So just be aware of that. Okay.
I was just going to ask your email because you said in case I had any
That's
questions.
written, yeah. So it's HLT
Mhm.
KUSU
Yeah.
O
Yeah.
at live.is.
Okay.
So next Chung is going to give us a talk on how to do a good audit.